Hey fight fans, welcome back to the Fight Book. This is the Indian accent guy back with some interesting fight updates to keep you up to date with the fight world. Dana White has announced massive fights like Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena and many other big fights. Plus, some other fights are also announced by the UFC. I think more than 13 fights are announced from the UFC. So without wasting any time, let's start the video in chronological order. Starting from next weekend's UFC Paris September 6th card, Imavo versus Ohio. First of all, the bout order for this card is updated. Pitbull is now the kick-off of the main card, and Renat Fakhradinov versus Andreas Gustafsson is buried in the preliminary card, and instead in the main card there is Mason Jones versus Bolaji Oki. Anyway, from the next Noshi UFC 3 card, one fight is in Jeopardy. Raul Rosas Jr. is out from his co-main event against Rob Font, and the UFC is looking for a new opponent. Moreover, one fight is also added, and this is a lightweight bout between Alexander Hernandez, who is riding a 3-fight win streak coming off a win over Chase Hooper, and he will be taking on another veteran, Diego Ferreira, who is 2-4 in his last 6 UFC fights, coming off a loss to Grant Dawson. Then the next card, UFC Perth, one fight is in Jeopardy. Tom Nolan's opponent, Ivan Elder, is out due to an injury, and UFC is looking for a replacement opponent for Tom Nolan. Then there is no fight from UFC 320 card, but we have two in the next one, which is UFC's Rio Oliveira versus Fiziev. It is a heavyweight bout between Walter Walker, who is riding a 3-fight first round heel hook finish streak, and he will be taking on Muhammad Usman, who is 4-2 in the UFC and just came back into the win column against a no one in Hamdi Abdul Wahab. Johnny Walker's brother versus Kamaru Usman's brother. Then there is a lightweight bout also added on UFC Rio card. Brazilian Ricardo Ramos, who is 1-3 in his last 4, and that win was also a split decision win, and he will be taking on Khan Offley, who is 0-2 in the promotion, so it's not a big fight. Then no fight announcement at UFC Vancouver card, but two at UFC 321, which is the next card, October 25th. The co-headliner of this event is announced by Dana White himself. It will be for the vacant Women's Strawweight Championship. If you are a follower of Fightbook, you already know that Virna Jandiroba and Mackenzie Dern are fighting for the vacated belt vacated by Zhang Weili, and Zhang Weili will be fighting for Valentina Shevchenko. I had told you in my one of the previous videos, I think 2 to 3 days ago. So now after Dana White's official announcements, you know that you are following a valid source, a valid person. Anyway, Jandiroba is number 1 contender in the strawweight division, while Dunn is ranked at number 5, but she holds a win over the number 1 contender, as Dunn had defeated Virna Jandiroba in 2020 by a unanimous decision. So this is a rematch. Currently, Jandiroba is on a 5-fight win streak, while Dunn is on a 2-fight win streak. But there is a fun fact as well. This strawweight division was the last UFC division to not have a champion vacate or be stripped. Another fun fact, the last 3 UFC champions that have moved up a weight class to fight for a second belt had to vacate their titles. So we can say that this is the new SOP of the UFC now. And with the second fight which is announced for this event, it is a bantamweight bout between number 2 ranked Umar Nurmagomedov, coming off a loss to Merab Dvalishvili, and he will be taking on number 8 ranked Mario Batista, who is coming off a big win over Patchy Mix. You already knew that because I had already told you about this one as well. Anyway, the next card is UFC Vegas 110 November 1st. 2 fights on this card. One is officially announced and one is yet to be made official. The official announcement is a flyweight bout where 14-0 undefeated Rafael Estevam, who is 3-0 in the UFC, and he will be taking on Alan Nascimento, who is also riding a 3-fight win streak in the UFC after losing his UFC debut. Anyway, the fight which is yet to be made official, it is still in works. It is a debut of 6-0 heavyweight Josh Hockett, who finished all of his fights, and he will be taking on Lucas Bresky, who is 1-6 in his UFC run. Currently 3-fight losing streak. His only win was over Walter Walker. Then 2 fights in works for UFC's next card, which is on November 8th, but the location is not announced yet. One is a featherweight bout between Austin Bashi versus Jamal Emmers, and the second one is a bantamweight bout between Ricky Simon versus Raoni Barcelos. This one is a big one if gets made official and gets done. Simon is on a 2-fight win streak, while Barcelos is on a 3-fight win streak, coming off back-to-back big wins over Peyton Talbot and Cody Garbrandt. Then the next one is UFC 322 MSG, November 15th. The main event, which we all knew, is officially announced finally. A welterweight championship bout between Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev, the former lightweight champion. I don't think I need to speak about this fight more, because everyone know about this fight from much time. Then the co-headliner is also an attempt to get the second belt in the UFC's another division. Zhang Weili vacated her strawweight belt, and he will be now taking on Valentina Shevchenko for the women flyweight title. Shevchenko will be making the 9th defense of her belt. She is coming off a tough win against Manon Fiorot, while Zhang Weili is also coming off a tough defense against Tatiana Suarez. Another fight that is officially announced by Dana White for this event, it is a top-ranked welterweight bout between number 4-ranked Leon Edwards, currently riding a 2-fight losing streak, from Bilal Muhammad and Sean Brady, and he will be taking on number 9-ranked Carlos Prates, who was supposed to co-headline UFC Rio, but now we don't know what happened in the background, but we got this fight on a pay-per-view against Leon Edwards. Carlos Prates is fresh, coming off a knockout win over Jeff Neal at UFC 319. The next card is November 22nd, is UFC Qatar. No fight announced for this event, but then the next after that is December 4th, UFC 323, the last pay-per-view in the UFC. The fight that is reported for this card is not official. It is currently in works, but it is a top-ranked flyweight bout. Number 2-ranked Brandon Moreno is supposed to take on number 5-ranked Tetsuro Taira. Moreno on a 2-fight win streak over Albazi and Erceg, while Taira just came back into the win column by beating Sung Jung Park. Moreover, Sean Strickland also wants to return in this event, as he says his suspension will be up in November and he wants to return in this card. His possible opponent could be Israel Adesanya, because he wants this fight. Moreover, Veronica Hardy says Sean Strickland has to coach female MMA as part of his current suspension, but Sean Strickland doesn't look happy doing so. Anyway, the next 2 announcements are not about fight announcements. These are about events announcement. First of all, Dana White officially confirmed that UFC White House event is officially on. Previously, Dana White had stated that there were some issues related to the octagon weight. So he had said that he will go at White House to solve those issues, and now it seems he has solved them, and now UFC White House card on International Fight Week July 4th is official. The second official announcement from the UFC is UFC's numbered event at Salt Lake City, Utah in early 2026. So it could be UFC 324, 25, 26, anything, but it would be a numbered event in Salt Lake City. Then there is also a fight announcement, or we can say in works, but we don't know the date. Jan Blachowicz has signed his next fight contract via his IG stories. And another UFC's top-ranked light heavyweight, Bogdan Guskov, also says that he has a date and location confirmed for his next fight. And moreover, Walter Walker teased that Bogdan Guskov is fighting Jan Blachowicz. So this fight is probably a done deal. It's just a matter of announcement, and if this fight is announced, I will let you know. Stay subscribed. Then another news we have from Mateusz Gamrot, who reveals that he has been offered a grappling match with Arman Sarukian, but he believes their rematch should take place in the UFC Octagon instead. If you don't know, Arman Sarukian is scheduled for a grappling bout on September 19th in Moscow, Russia at ACBJJ event. Then lastly, some fight news, but not from the UFC, still related to the UFC. Craig John vs. Chael Sonnen 2 is signed for CGI 2 on Sunday. Sonnen replaces Gable Stevenson, who pulled out due to a minor injury, but the big reason was that he is currently practicing for his MMA debut. Then anyway, Chael will be calling the first real American freestyle wrestling event headlined by Bo Nickel on Saturday in Cleveland. Then on early Sunday, he will fly to Vegas to battle Jones in the evening. Jones had defeated Sonnen in 2017 at an ADCC event via heel hook. Then there is Vadim Namkov, who has signed a new 2-year contract with PFL. He revealed that negotiations were ongoing with the UFC, but the UFC offer was not right for him. The salary was half that, and there were the other issues, like the UFC had told him that they do not need more Russians because they already have many Russian champions in the UFC. Anyway, Vadim also mentions he has a fight scheduled for November, but he did not name his opponent. Then in the end of the video, a fight news from ONE FC. Their atomweight MMA champion Denis Zamboanga is out of 173 title defense in Tokyo versus Ayaka Miura due to medical reasons. The top of this division is cursed because the real champion was Storm Fairtex, who was getting injured. The interim champion was Denis Zamboanga, so she vacated the belt so that Zamboanga can defend the real belt. But now Zamboanga is injured, and Stamp Fairtex, who was the real champion, is fighting in a non-title bout on the same card. Anyway, lastly, Skyo Stewart is now conscious and communicating from hospital bed after Raja Jackson's attack. Rampage Jackson, Raja Jackson's father, says that his son Raja has not been the same since his mom was murdered. Anyway, the big news is that at least Stu is now getting healthy. Lastly, in this video, Dylan Dennis and Luke Rockhold got into a fight at the Misfits 22 weigh-ins this morning. But still, this was not the biggest news from that weigh-in show. The biggest news is that Brian Battle hits the mark at 186 like a true professional. Now that's all in this video. More than 20 fights are announced in the boxing world, but video will be too long if I will tell you about all of them. So let's end this video right here, and we will talk about those boxing fights in the next video. If I receive enough requests in the comment section, I will make that video today. But if you can wait, I will make the next video tomorrow and will tell you all about all 20 fights that are announced in the boxing world. Anyway, at least now you are completely up to date with the MMA world. Now you can do whatever you want.